Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 13 of IFNZ Presents That Was A Hoot, a Rocko's Modern Life recap mega series.
Are you gonna land on mega series? Is that what
It's so big.
we're sticking with?
It's thick.
It's just a series, right?
Yeah, it's just a series.
And because what if something
What do you
happens?
find?
Oh my! Like what if something happens between now and the end of this year, 2022,
Don't.
that extends the Rocko's Modern Life world?
Yeah.
So we might pick up on new things, and I'm completely content. Let's just do it on air right here.
Okay.
If they greenlight a season 5 of Rocko's Modern Life,
I don't think that's going to happen.
even 2 years later, it's 2024.
Okay.
Season 5 Rocko's Modern Life gets
Sure.
greenlit because you never know what's going to
They
happen.
do it in the animation style of like the new Rugrats.
No. We pick up where we left off, and we just dust the dust off.
I don't think we have to dust any dust off. I think it'll still be pretty fresh. It's only been 2 years at that point. But
Okay.
I say that the series is indefinitely open. There's
it's
no
open-ended.
bookend to it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Even-
if there's even if we get another movie like another Static Clings type
Yeah.
situation, there's no reason why we wouldn't pick it back up to make another episode.
If they just drop news about it, we're gonna
That's an
turn on the
episode.
mics. It's an episode. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm glad it never go away.
If they just have like, I don't know, if Joe Murray is Joe Murray, right?
Yeah,
Joe Murray just like farts and it sounds like Rocko. It sounds Australian. Like we're gonna have an episode about it.
Can you demonstrate that for me? Because I want to know what that sounds like, just in case that happens. For my own knowledge.
Yeah.
So we're starting off season 2, episode 7, segment 1, Hut Sut Raw. You gave me just a brief.
What's up, Raw?
little-
In the middle of it.
Yeah, a little bit of a opening to that because I didn't know really the context of the song really truly at all.
Same.
But it's older than what we even initially found out.
It appears the 30s ish, perhaps.
Yeah, the 30s ish perhaps, but the version that I was listening to looked like it came out like a World War II song, and it was like a Swedish serenade is what it says next to it in parentheses. So I don't know, like it's originally a Swedish song, but I guess it maybe could be older than that even.
Yeah, I think it's definitely older than that, and it seems less Swedish,
I think it came from the
More,
Mongolians.
more American.
Yeah. We Americanized it.
It's zany. No, they Swedenized it. It was an American song first.
It was an American song first, and they Swedenized
They
it, and then we
Swedenized
brought
it.
it back to America.
I don't know when with Rocko. That's when we brought it back.
And then it went to Australia, and then it came to America again.
But mind you, the beginning of this, since
Yeah.
it is 93, 94, 94.
Yeah.
This
93, I
is-
think, at this point, right?
This is I don't know. This is a 60-year reference to a song potentially.
Yeah.
None of us are getting it.
Mm-mm.
We're not getting that reference, and they don't explain the reference. So we continue. Go ahead.
So we open with Rocko singing Hut Sut Raw and looking through a backpack, looking for his flashlight. He finds his Fish-O-Matic, which is a compact fishing pole.
And I mind you, when he's singing Hut Sut Raw, he goes, Hut Sut Raw, do 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 do. Like he doesn't even know like anything else. He just sings.
He's just doing the Hut Sut Raw and
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Then Filbert and Heifer both enter, and it seems that they're all set for their camping trip. Heifer has a backpack that is a full-size refrigerator, fully stocked.
Mm-hmm.
And when asked where his sleeping bag is, he says, "What? There's no beds?"
Now in the car, the guys go to Fuzzy Stick National Park, singing Hut Sut Raw together once again. As they're driving, they arrive at a large parking lot, and there's a guide in the lot with a redwood in a pot, a leaf from some kind of tree, and a rock. The tourists are all very excited by this, and they're starting to take pictures of the leaf that's just there in the pot.
Yeah, it's just
So it's like this is like a full on like this is a tourist destination, and then the route that they take is kind of just like off the beaten path scenic route, kind of.
yeah. Well,
Like
everything.
this is almost like tourist trappy, and then they're like, we shouldn't do tourist trap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting there. Rocko says that this is where the sissies and the couch potatoes camp, and he wants the real thing. So they take a moving walking path through Nature-O-Rama. The path takes them to a dome where the vending machines are hanging from trees, because that's how nature works. And there are cardboard cutouts of mountains in the back, and Rocco's very disappointed, but Heifer and Filbert are very excited. They're the couch potatoes and the sissies, I guess.
Yeah, they are. I really thoroughly enjoy this aspect of the episode because it always makes me think of Biodome whenever I see this.
Yeah,
And I don't know why, but I always really enjoyed that movie as a kid. I
because
like
it's
the
a dome
concept.
with trees in it. So
Yeah,
you're
it's
like,
like it's just like an artificial life in an area that shouldn't have life because in Biodome they're in like the middle of a desert.
yeah,
And then they have all of these different branches of like the full deciduous forest and a
right.
jungle atmosphere and
Mm-hmm.
all of these different things in this one area. And I
Yeah,
thought it was cool. And that kind of what it reminds me of. And the fact that they have like a conveyor belt that guides them
yeah.
and the vending machines
Mm-hmm.
and shit. Rocco convinces the other two to go out into actual nature and to the big lake. They arrive and set up camp, and Filbert complains about his feet, takes off his shoes, and kills a bunch of wildlife with the smell that is wafting by.
Ooh, that smell.
Mm.
Rocco pours can of fire on a fire pit and adds water, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but whatever, to get an instant fire. The bugs just run out screaming out of the fire pit. And so Heifer is in charge of setting up the tent, and Filbert's in charge of getting the water.
At the water, there are frogs, bugs, and fish all kissing and being romantic, to which Filbert says, "Ick, this water's disgusting." Do you think is it because he thinks that the water itself is gross, or just because there's PDA going on?
It's that.
It's the PDA is
Yeah.
just turning him off,
Yeah,
kind of.
absolutely.
He tells Rocco that they can't drink the water because the fish are dating in it,
Yeah,
not mating.
yeah, yeah. Dating.
We can't talk about mating,
No,
not in
no,
this
they're,
show.
they're dating though.
Hmm.
Heifer continues to struggle with the tent in all the classic kinds of ways.
Hmm.
And once he gets it up, it rolls away and burns before he can get the stakes in the ground.
Filbert keeps spraying himself with bug spray, and the bugs keep coming to him right afterwards. Heifer's hungry, goes into his fridge, which is now empty except for a couple of squirrels that are all full of the food, and they're glutens
There are glutons.
because they're a fool. Heifer is worried that they're going to starve. Rocco's freeze-dried food then blows away.
Rocco pulls his fish-o-matic out to catch some fish, but it shoots out into the water because those little compact fishing poles aren't spring-loaded.
Yeah, it just shoots out.
Gotta have
Completely
that tight
break
grip.
it.
So Filbert says that the water's making him need to go pee,
Mhm.
and wants to know where the bathroom is. It's clear that they've never been out in nature. Rocco and Heifer point towards a bush with a sign that says "bush." Filbert decides to hold it.
Down on their luck, they decide to head back home, but appear to be lost and going in circles. They split up looking for food. Heifer licks a rock, which has like moss on it. Rocco tries berries that he's finding off these bushes, and Filbert meets an ape, and then starts asking him for the banana that he has.
Heifer brings the rocks back, which he thought were stale bread, and Filbert comes back all bitten and beaten up from the ape that he got a little hostile with over the banana. He was like, "Where'd you get the banana?"
He wouldn't leave it alone. I just
Yeah.
said, "Hey, where's the banana?" And the apes,
I want your banana.
The night they sit around the campfire, all of the backpacks are taken by mysterious creatures in the dark. I don't think that's ever explained either.
Nope.
But it's like it's full on like it's not even like wolf paws or it looks like hands.
Yeah.
Like somebody just takes them and then
Yep.
they're gone. The next day, they're delirious and sing Hut Sut Rock but this like all kind of Hut Sut Rock. Rocco looks at Filbert and sees a can of That's Good turtle soup. And sees a big steak when he looks at Heifer. They look at Rocco and see a chicken leg and some other foul kind of leg.
I don't
I
know
think it's
why.
like a turkey leg.
In a turkey.
Yeah.
But he's not a turkey.
I mean, he's not a chicken either.
He's neither one. He's no fowl.
He's no foul.
But like
But I
Heifer's
mean,
a
like,
steak.
but, you know what I mean? Like, that makes sense. And the turtle soup, but we don't eat wallaby. So what else would we make
I'm
him?
sure somebody does, right?
Gross.
Like somebody eats dog. Like,
I don't want to think about it, though.
oh, I got
They
you.
have feelings.
So foul, a foul leg. Heifer and Filbert start to attack Rocco, and Rocco convinces them that they shouldn't eat each other. They're friends, and friends don't eat each other. All of a sudden, it starts raining steaks from a park ranger on the other side of the tree line. Heifer starts to eat one and throws it up all over Rocco.
Mhm.
It turns out the steaks were for the wild shrews, and they are in the wild shrew kingdom. The shrews jump the guys, and they run away.
Later back at Rocco's house, they moved the furniture outside and built a campfire. Filbert uses the real bathroom, comes out, relieved. And they also have a bed out there, so Filbert is a happy camper. Hut Sut Raw. Oh, yeah.
They sing Hut Sut Raw, biting on a money, and so on, so on, so on is what they sing at the end.
Hot shot raw, biting on the money.
But it's Hut Set Rawson, and then they do some like then they change out the backwards. Like there's a tail to the line
Yeah.
every time. So a little bit. It was a weird episode.
Yeah, I always
good.
I enjoy the idea and concept of outdoor camping that way, of like getting your furniture and just putting it outside. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's just like one of those things. It's like rednecks camp like that all the
Do
time.
they?
You know what I mean? Like how they have the yard furniture that just leave outside, and that they're camping like that.
Yeah.
They're just lounging. I don't know.
My question to you is, do you know? So neither one of us knew Hut Set. But is
Is that a
there?
traditional camping song though?
I don't know. It
Okay.
doesn't show up on this list that I'm have in
About to
front of
pull
me.
up of traditional camping songs.
And I was going to ask you if you knew any traditional camping songs, or if you even knew what a traditional camping song would be.
I know what is probably a modern new camping song via SpongeBob SquarePants, which is the camping song.
That's on the list.
Is it?
It's on the list.
CAMPFIRE, it's not, or whatever it is. And then this keeps speeding up every time. I just remember Patrick, whenever it gets too fast, he's like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, so that one's definitely on there.
Wow.
Other ones that I knew of were like, we're going on a bear hunt.
Oh,
and
gonna catch a big one.
I only know that because that was like a whole like
That's a kid's book,
Well,
a children's book.
and also when I was in school, that was like our kindergarten like program for our parents.
Mhm.
Was that the same for you? Did they do the same one every year?
I don't know if they did that whenever I was a kid. I remember reading the book whenever I was younger.
Gotcha.
Betty's read the book in whenever she's been in pre-K and stuff as well too, and everything. We've had the book for
So they're beating
before
the
then.
same old damn drum.
Yeah, it's a classic. It's hard to beat the classics. So going on a bear hunt, that makes sense.
On top of spaghetti, or the meatball song, as you may know it as.
All covered in cheese.
BINGO.
Okay, bingo.
Bingo was his name-o. She'll be coming around the mountain.
Yeah.
My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean.
Okay.
John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, one of my personal favorites.
Like, we should make an aside episode that is just us figuring out like what the origin of these songs actually mean, because I feel like some of them might be like dark shit.
Oh, I'm sure
you know
it
what
is.
I mean? Like just like we just have no idea.
Yeah. Home on the Range, of course.
Okay.
Baby Shark makes the list, which I don't like.
No.
Do Yours Hang Low, Wheels on the Bus, Baby Bumblebee. I like Baby Bumblebee.
I don't know if I know Baby Bumblebee.
I caught a little baby bumblebee.
I know that tune.
My mommy be so proud of me. And then like they smash the baby bumblebee and they lick it up and they puke it up.
I don't know all of the motions of that, but I know that that's tradition.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes me think of Looney Tunes, because that would be a tune that would play in the background while shit's
Right.
going on in an episode.
And then there's adult ones, but they're not really. They're
Like
the
sexy, like
no,
kinky ones.
They're like the songs that like somebody would bring a guitar and play. Like
Kumbaya.
like Wagon Wheel.
Oh, what is Kumbaya on there?
Kumbaya
It should be. I feel like that's a very campfire. That's a staple. You have somebody that has an acoustic and you're around a fire like that, you have to sing Kumbaya.
I don't even know Kumbaya on my guitar.
Kumbaya, my lord, Kumbaya.
I know hundreds of songs.
You do?
Kumbaya is not one
of them. It's okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of good songs, but I also didn't really have a lot of thoughts on what a campfire song was either, because I didn't find myself singing around a campfire, I guess, as a young age. But
no, I mean, I guess it is a thing that people do, but I feel like that was a staple of things that were created maybe around like you're at summer camp. It's an activity that you do at a summer camp as something that they generate for you, or you're part of Boy Scouts or RAs or Girl Scouts, something to that effect, where you're outside.
What's an RA?
Royal Ambassadors. It's like a church organization thing, kind of like Boy Scouts, but through a church.
Gotcha.
I was an RA whenever I was a kid, and I just we camped and stuff too. And so
Boy Scouts is pretty near a church activity, anyways.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Like Royal Ambassadors is like, that's as like you get a badge if you memorize X amount of verses. Like it is church.
Oh, okay. Right on.
So season 2, episode 7, segment 2.
That's good. Mighty accurate and fast. Rolled off the
Kiss
tongue well.
me, I'm foreign. So there's a commercial for Squirrel Away, which first shows the squirrels in Heifer's fridge from the last episode that we were familiar with, that are portly now, and we see squirrels that are now living in Filbert's shell as he's walking down the street with Dr. Hutchinson. Doesn't it make him itchy? He itches the shell because of them like moving around there and stuff.
He was itchy in the last episode because of his backpack
Yeah.
on his shell.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that those would have to be irritating. I don't remember talking about it,
This
but
is inside a shell even.
yeah, this is inside.
This is like whenever you have like nerves that like tingle and you have like it itches, but you
Yeah.
can't itch it because it's just inside your
or
body.
just like worms.
I've never had worms, so I don't know about that.
I don't either. So meanwhile, Rocco is told by the Department of Deportation that he is getting deported in 1 week, even though he is here legally. It's really confusing scenario. The file they have, though, which might clear it up, is of a steer type animal wearing a stretched out version of Rocco's shirt with the name Rocky above it. So it appears that maybe they might have gotten Rocco and Rocky confused.
So it should be Rocco that's getting deported?
I think Rocky should be deported.
Okay.
And they
Rocco is here legally, but they messed it up like at customs or something like that.
they,
Who
at
deals
the
with green cards? Is that a customs thing?
Department of Deportation.
I'm sorry. That was my bad. The DOD.
At least in this world.
The
I don't
Dodd.
know who
the
does
Dodd
it.
is in charge of Rocco and his citizenship.
And he just shows up at the DOD. I'm assuming he got a letter in the mail.
Why not?
Because
No email
it's not
really
really
at that point in
explained.
time.
It's just like, hey, come down in here. We need to tell you some things.
So when Rocco arrives home, he's greeted with a surprise party for his deportation. It doesn't seem like they know exactly what deportation means because they're all confused when Rocco says that he doesn't want to leave.
Yeah. There is a ring at the door, and it's the deportation agent who says they've made a mistake, and we all get our hopes up that maybe they made a mistake and they realize that he's not Rocky, he's Rocco. But he says that he doesn't have to leave in a week. He has to leave now. And there's even a plane waiting outside in Rocco's yard.
Like a 747.
Like landed potentially on Melba's house if
Yeah.
Melba's still living next door. And Mr. Bighead seems to be the only one excited about it. He's like, bye, Rocco.
See you, Rocco. Let me get your bags. So quick on his feet, Heifer stops Rocco from leaving and says that Rocco's getting married to Filberta. Filbert corrects him and says, call me Ophelia.
So he's thought about this. The agent says Rocco doesn't have to leave because of the marriage, and the government doesn't want to get in the way of true love. That's a lie. Though Rocco and Ophelia will be under strict observation for a few days.
It's like a ankle bracelet, but with people watching you instead all the time.
A little kinkier.
Later that night, we see Filbert breaking it off with Dr. Hutchinson, sad, who starts to sing in mourning. But a deportation bus runs into some people on the sidewalk, and she gets her doctor bag to go help them out.
There's a lot of it's just like it's heavy deportation in this episode. Like,
yeah,
there's just like the bus didn't have to be a deportation bus, but it just is.
It didn't. It was though. Yeah.
At the courthouse, Rocco and Ophelia are getting married, and Heifer, the agent, and Death are there as witnesses.
I love that. I love that the agent is the only one that's like teary-eyed and broken up about it for some reason, even though he's only known him for now probably like 2 to 3 days.
Right. And Rocco's eyes are all jacked up, and I'm guessing he's freaking out that he's getting married, because like he doesn't really say anything in that whole scene. He just kind of has weird eyes. But Ophelia's all dressed up and no glasses, so they don't know where they're looking at all whatsoever the entire time. And the judge loves Ophelia's voice. So Rocco carries Ophelia across the threshold at the house. They're married now.
Doesn't she keep saying something? He keeps saying something, Filberta, Ophelia.
Ophelia says something, yeah.
And it's the thing that the judge or whatever that's there wants.
Oh gosh, or something like that. And she's like, say it again.
Keep saying it again. Yeah, yeah. The next morning, Filbert is cleaning a house, and Rocco wakes up, and Rocco tells Filbert not to take this so seriously when he sees that the agent pops his head out of the toilet and promptly gives him a kiss.
There's a photo in the bathroom hanging of Heifer. I don't know if you noticed that, but
I didn't.
It's just next to the sink, and the mirror is like a photo of Heifer in the bathroom.
I think I now that you mention it, I want to think that Heifer did that for him though. Like he was just like, Rocco doesn't have enough pictures of his friends here. I'm gonna put this picture of me up here.
I like that.
That way he thinks about me often while he's going in the bathroom,
going pooping.
At Kind of a Lot of Comics, Rocco's working. I guess he got his job back, even though we knew he got fired like 4 or 5 episodes ago, maybe.
Right.
And the pink bunny from Rocco's story from a few episodes ago, which was in an episode.
Wasn't an episode?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there saying, turn the page and wash your hands, like Filbert would say. all the way back in the very first couple of episodes.
Filbert calls Rocko at work a couple of times just to check on him. Rocko is very annoyed by this, and Filbert gets mad. He says that Rocko doesn't appreciate him, so he won't appreciate Rocko.
Rocko comes home with flowers for Filbert. This whole thing's starting to get real weird. That Filbert then eats and asks, "Where's dinner?" When's dinner's going to be ready? Rocko goes into the kitchen to cook, and the agent is hiding inside the freezer. So this whole thing is like flip the script. Now he was like the loving, caring wife, and then as soon as that happened, it flipped the script, and now he's the asshole stay-at-home husband.
Yeah.
While Rocko is also just not even like taking up like the mantle, I would say, of like the loving, like I work wife kind of a person, but
Yeah.
it's still just being Rocko. So now it's just like two domineering males trying to live in the same atmosphere.
Yeah. And so Filbert is in the chair asking where his fish sticks are as a squirrel goes into his shell. So the squirrels are still living there. And Filbert says he has a hedgehog to feed, which I have no idea what that means.
I don't either.
I don't know if that's like the same as like I could eat a whole cow. He's like, I got a hedgehog to feed.
Maybe it's his belly.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't like it.
I don't either. I don't know. You see, you think of somebody's hog, you think about their junk. You know
I was
mean?
not going that direction.
No, I
though.
don't either. But I don't think so either. I'm just thinking like that's the only thing I could think of in correlation with anything hog related. I don't know what a hedgehog would be, unless he thinks what's in his shell might be a hedgehog now. Too.
I like that. That theory
Since it was just like around there.
That sticks better.
Rocko says dinner's ready. There's a can of clam juice on the table, along with a plate of mush. Rocko finally has had enough with this, and he gets into a boxing ring with an announcer and spectators for their first fight. They exchange words, which are on boxing gloves that they hit each other with.
They are interrupted by a phone call that Filbert answers with, "Yeah, what happened?" Which is, I have decided, no matter who it is, that's just how he.
That's how he answers the phone, yeah.
And I love that. And it is the judge that married he and Rocko, and I guess they're friends now. She had called earlier when he was like checking on Rocko at the comic store too. He yells at her though, and she hangs up the phone on his face.
Do you think that you could get what happened into your lexicon of how you answer the phone?
No,
especially if like people at work from there call you and you're just like, yeah, what happened? That's how you start answering.
Unfortunately, that's probably pretty accurate though.
They interrupt.
That's usually why they're calling.
Yeah. They interrupt their fight where they're actually making up when the doorbell rings, and it's the agent. He congratulates Rocko on becoming a citizen again and gives him his green card.
There we go. Filbert leaves the house sadly, since they don't have to be together anymore, and Rocko asks if he wants to do something later, which is a nice little thing for Filbert.
Yeah.
They agree to go do something, and Filbert walks away with the squirrel following him. Filbert goes to the nifty drugstore, where he's in the embarrassing personal hygiene products aisle with a couple other turtles. He grabs some squirrel away, which is next to the bad rabbit, or the bad rabbit bad, which has that pink rabbit on it, and the hedgehog be gone. Hedgehog.
Hey, hedgehog.
So he has a hedgehog too.
Yeah.
He not only has squirrels, but he also has hedgehog.
It's a rampant rodent problem with Filbert.
It's odd to me that he decides after he and Rocko break up to get rid of the squirrels. Yeah. It's a weird placement.
It's like he was like content with it being. He was happy and okay at first, and then got to a point where he was so displaced and upset that he just didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
And now I guess he's back to a point where he's just like, okay, maybe I should try and start caring about myself a little bit more.
Because he's like on the dating game again, like on the dating circuit.
He wants to make sure it's like he has crabs.
He's got to get him cleaned up.
He's got to get him cleaned up before he does anything.
Yeah.
So when Filbert goes to check out, Dr. Hutchinson's actually running the cash register. So does she work there now as like part-time or something maybe? Or she's a doctor and a cashier?
She gives a very indirect answer.
They're awkwardly exchanging pleasantries, and Filbert says he thought that she was a surgeon, and she says she was, but she just couldn't cut it. Then they laugh, and then she kisses him on the cheek.
Back to the embarrassing products aisle, we see the agent and the judge, both with squirrels on their heads, reaching for the last box of Squirrel Away. They fall in love, get married, and Rocko and Heifer and Filbert and Dr. H are there.
In the bathroom, Filbert is reading the directions for Squirrel Away, which is actually just a grenade that kills squirrels. He throws it into his shell, then his shell deflates after it explodes, and the squirrels float up to heaven.
So it's a sweet ending.
No, they say something at the end, like it's like a almost like a husband and wife squirrel that are
Yeah.
floating up, and
Yeah.
they're having like unpleasant treats as they're going to heaven.
Well, they kissed. They were like
Yeah, I love
symphonically.
you,
Yeah,
and it's like a weird wet kiss because they're like deflated
maybe
too.
I don't know. Yeah, because they've been living, their home has been there. They got the little
Yeah.
chairs and filbert shell and everything. My question to you is, what are your thoughts on fish sticks?
I'm not a fan of fish in general, so
Doesn't matter. Have you had fish sticks before?
I have.
Do you
Yeah,
like fish sticks?
not really.
Okay, because
Or you're gonna ask me if I was a gay fish?
nope, no, not at all. No, because I don't think that fish sticks and fish are one and the same.
I feel like fish sticks and follow me with this.
Okay.
Okay, take me. I'm gonna take you on a
It's like
journey.
a chicken nugget.
Yes,
It's kind of
fish
not really
sticks,
chicken.
fish sticks, and then both also the fish and chicken and the chicken. Wait, hold on. Fish sticks and chicken nuggets from like McDonald's,
Okay.
kind of samey.
Okay.
Also, fish sticks and the fish and chicken from Long John Silver's, kind of samey. Different breadings
Right. Yes.
because it's battered differently.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're all of the same caliber.
Yeah.
You could have the chicken from Long John Silver's, which I love. I adore that chicken. But if I had their fish next to it and I ate it, I could probably tell the difference. But at the same time, not really.
Yeah. And
There's not enough of a distinction there with it. So I mean, I agree with you, but at the same time, I'm gonna, order the chicken because I find it a little bit more flavorful and I like it more.
I think that there's a possibility
Mm-hmm.
that they're all kind of the same thing, but they have chicken flavoring or fish flavoring added to them. Maybe. What do you think about that?
So it's like all one meat. Where did we get it from, or is it just grown?
It's not real. Yeah, it's grown.
It's not real. You
No.
say I'm imagining eating this
It's
food.
imaginary food.
Are you saying that it's like we've had Beyond Meat for longer than we've anticipated, or you think it's like
yeah, in like a gross way though.
Yeah. like it's just we've got bits of things here and there,
Yeah.
and we're gonna mush them into a paste,
Yeah.
and this paste will become fish, maybe chicken.
Yes. I think that Beyond Meat, the difference with Beyond Meat is that it doesn't have any animal byproduct in it, whereas this stuff
is all animal byproduct.
has stuff in it. Some of it's animal, some of it's vegetable, some of it's plastic. It doesn't really
There's
matter.
plastic in it, you
Probably.
think?
I mean, fuck. The bread at Subway had rubber in it.
True, yeah. And then the tuna was not real tuna at all. They tested it. It was whenever they tested it. Was that like 4 or 5 months ago? Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember.
We talked about it.
Yeah.
Like, there was like not 100% of it was zero tuna.
You can't talk about tuna in my house because my phone thinks that I love tuna melts, and like my Google newsfeed like randomly just has recipes for tuna melts.
Do you not like go through and make sure that you like, I don't like this article?
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah, it's on the little thing on the side. You it has like a little bar on it, and you click it, and it was like, do you like this article? You see less of this?
Well, maybe I should start doing that.
You should probably do that. That way you see less of it, and maybe it doesn't listen for tuna melts.
Cruising.
Yes, episode 8, segment 1, cruising. Rocco's driving Heifer and his grandpa to the grandpa's cruise ship. Well, grandpa is complaining the whole time. Heifer apologizes for grandpa being cranky, and grandpa calls him a fat little cowboy.
I like that.
Can we call it in our new music venture? Can that be my band name?
Your band name?
Fat Little Cowboy. Like, I'm Shaad Schubert. This is Fat Little Cowboy.
Oh, like, yeah.
Like, it's stage name.
That's your stage name?
That's my stage name. You can still just be Shaad if you want, because that's what you've
Will,
established.
yeah.
You call me Fat Little Cowboy.
Okay, you got it. There's a banner hanging up for the Senior Citizen Singles Cruise, and it doesn't sound like Grandpa is excited to go on the cruise. While getting him to his room, Grandpa stops to go to the bathroom. He says it's very important. And so does Heifer, because he says that's a good idea. I should too. And while they're in there, the ship takes off and Rocko and Heifer are stuck on the cruise.
Heifer tells Rocko they should blend in and no one will notice that they're not supposed to be there. But they end up chained to a wall in the engine room of the ship. That changed real quick. Captain comes and tells them that they're in luck. 2 deckhands were just thrown overboard by a mob of elderly people, and now they have to be the replacement deckhands.
They both are scrubbing the deck when Rocko asks how they are supposed to do all the chores and take care of Grandpa. They flip for it, and Heifer gets to do the chores while Rocko takes care of Grandpa. But my question is, why do they have to take care of Grandpa? It's a senior citizens cruise, and nobody else has people taking care of
And
him.
not to mention the fact that they were supposed to just be there to drop him off
Yeah,
at said cruise.
they weren't going to stay there
No,
originally.
no.
So why can't they just bolt
It's
through the
like
chores?
it's like a fun cruise, but also meant to be like a senior home at the same time.
Yeah.
Just a fun senior home trip
Exactly.
type thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's weird.
I guess it's just now that they're on board, maybe they feel like they're the need. Well, they're replacing deckhands, so maybe the deckhands were meant to be almost kind of like orderlies a little bit too.
Maybe.
You know, so
I like
maybe
that.
they're like short of an orderly or something too.
Good idea.
Heifer gets to put on dentures, denture cleaning duty with a room full of dentures, which is disgusting. While Rocko has Grandpa out on the deck, he's chasing him around on the wheelchair as the boat shifts side to side. Grandpa keeps yelling "Beaver" to get Rocko to help him. Rocko ends up getting trampled by a gaggle of wheelchairs.
That's the proper term for that.
That is a lot of wheelchairs.
Grandpa says he thought that this was a singles cruise and wants to know where the babes are. He calls for women from around the pool area who rush over and end up grabbing Rocko. Heifer is pushing a food cart and accidentally knocks over a row of walkers that are like motorcycles in front of the saloon. And a group of old people come out and they say that he scratched their walker and they run after him.
At the Last Chance Ballroom, Grandpa and some other old guys are all talking about when they used to be who used to be the best dancer, while Heifer continues to be chased around by the gang of old people. Grandpa spots Winifred Wolf on the dance floor. She went to Ozark Tech with Grandpa, and he says that she was crazy about him and has a flashback about her smacking him in the face. And he was like a big buff jockey football player in a what's the
Letterman's jacket.
Letterman's jacket. Yeah, I couldn't think of what the coat was called.
Yeah. I didn't put this together originally because we're like pretty close to the Ozarks.
Mhm.
And so I was thinking like kind of like that, but it's probably, I'm assuming, referring to like the Ozark, like the Noah's Ark. Nope, that's a different thing.
No, that's a boat. That was a big boat.
And that's Ozark.
Yeah,
Not Noah's Ark. That's different. Never mind. I'm glad I talked about this out loud.
that's good.
On the mic. At the Flamingo Room dinner. At the Flamingo Room dinner.
At the Flamingo Room, comma,
yes,
dinner's being served. And it's all in puree form and ice cream machines. That's fucking gross. I can't stand whenever they pour out the stuff that's supposed to be roast beef that's in the thing, and he pulls it out, and it's like a pink ooze. It's not even brown. Not even like cooked. It looks like it's just raw roast beef.
It's like I mean, that's prime rib. Never mind. I'll quit talking. Grandpa finds Winifred Wolf and introduces himself.
Oh wait, they start a food fight. I forgot to read that part.
Oh yeah, they do start a food
fight.
Grandpa finds Winifred Wolf and introduces himself. We find out that his name is Hiram Willie Wolf. We also find out that Winifred was not impressed by Grandpa when they were younger, and he hasn't changed, so she is still not into him.
Rocko asks Grandpa how it went with Winifred, and he tells him, "Shut up, Beaver," and hits him with his cane. Rocko, angry, talks to an old dog who says that Rocko might be angry too when he gets old due to heartbreak of a prune diet or lost memories. Also, Rocko stares into the water where the old dog is feeding some ducks, and he realizes that they're going to hit the ducks with the boat.
It's dangerous. So Rocko runs up to the captain's area and tells him about it, and we find out the captain wants to hit the ducks, and he even has a duck sconce on the wall, and like so he wants to kill ducks. Rocko takes the steering wheel and they avoid the ducks, but they go right into the Bermuda Triangle, where there's a green guy with a plane on his head that zips the triangle up after they enter.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, I guess it's just because everything's zany and upside down and weird in the Bermuda Triangle. So that's their explanation for it.
For the guy?
I mean, like, I don't know why the guy has the plane on his head and he zips it up. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand the point of that.
I think the zip up is just like sometimes
Now
he opens it.
you're in an alternate dimension
It's a
at
triangle.
that point in time. Yeah,
Yeah, it's to zip the triangle.
Yeah.
He could have shut the door, I guess.
sure.
But he chose to zip it like a tent.
Yeah. So this is another two-parter here.
It
so
is.
it's the end of the first segment, end of the first part of the episode, leaving us on the cliffhanger.
That's right. Have you ever wanted to go on a cruise?
Yeah, of course.
What kind? Are you wanting to do like a themed one, certain locations? What would be your ideal cruise? Tom?
Of course.
Penelope?
The Tom Cruise is my favorite
You
one.
remember when Tom Cruise and Penelope Cruz were dating, but they both had different spellings
Spellings of
of
the last
Cruz?
name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I
was
do.
it was made me like, okay, cool, they're not
You remember
related.
whenever Tom Cruise jumped up and down on that couch on our Oprah?
Yeah.
And he was in love with Katie Holmes and so
Mhm.
excited.
Mhm.
And then it didn't work out well for him.
Yeah. I mean, they lasted for a long time.
Yeah.
It
I don't
just
think she wanted it to last as long as it did, though. Um, I think I think just a generic cruise. If it was themed, I would like to go on something like maybe like a band's cruise. Like Coheed has their own cruise that they do
yeah, the
every year
Neverender,
now.
yeah.
I think going on like SS Neverender or something like that would be really fun, especially with like the lineup that they have and
Yeah.
all kinds of meet and greets. They also partake in like some of the activities and stuff that are on the cruise and
Yeah.
stuff too. I think it would be neat just to do something like that. But just even just a plain old cruise. I really enjoy being out on a boat and everything. So yeah, I think it'd be fun to do
Go with
that.
any of them?
Yeah.
I like I want to go on a Disney cruise.
Yeah.
But I think I'd like to go on like I think I'm fairly certain there's a West Coast Disney cruise
Hmm.
like that comes out of like
West Coast Adventures.
California or something, and I'd like to see something from that side that maybe is even more northern where it's like because I think it would be cool to see more of like an Alaskan cruise or something. But I think theme wise, I definitely would
It'd be
like
so weird
the
to be on
Disney.
a cruise and then if you're going to be out and about on the boat, knowing that like I have to dress up super warm because it's cold as shit outside.
Yeah, I
you
like it
know?
though. They probably have a lot of like heaters on deck.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I just meant like thinking about it like that way. Every time you really think and imagine a cruise, you're thinking like Bahamas, something tropical, being in
Hmm.
the heat and stuff like that. You don't really think of like and there are lots of Alaskan cruise lines. There's ones that they do in like Norway and
Oh
stuff like
yeah.
that too that are like more winter themed ones anyways.
Hmm.
So I think that would be interesting too.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
Heck yes.
Let's do cruising part 2.
Let's do it.
Cruising the world. In the Bermuda Triangle, they are floating around along with many other things, including an hourglass with eyeballs. These are all stereotypical things that float through the Bermuda Triangle in my mind when I
Yeah.
think of it. Not just because of this, but because of probably even like the Twilight
Oh
Zone.
yeah, absolutely Twilight Zone.
Uh, Planes that turn into ghouls, pirate ship on fire, UFO with a dangling chicken leg. Their capture Heifer, and the aliens look like green versions of Heifer. And then they send him back, and Heifer says that they were hideous creatures.
Time goes by super fast for Rocco and Heifer, and they become old. Time winds backward for Grandpa and the rest of the elderly, so they're now young. And the captain of the ship is now a baby. Do you get the rules? Do you understand now what's
Yeah.
happening? Okay.
For the only 2 people got to flash forward. Everybody else went backwards. The captain was younger than all of the other old people, so he is an infant.
He went real young.
Yeah, he's a baby now. So Rocco snaps at someone and doesn't understand why he's just so grumpy all of a sudden. Grandpa tries to take a pass at Winifred again now that they're young, and she still wants nothing to do with him because he only thinks of himself.
He just wants to get it out. A storm starts to brew, and the water grows a hand, smacks the ship, and knocks Rocco into the water. Heifer tries to save Rocco, but is too weak. Grandpa hears Rocco and jumps in to save him.
But it also mentioned that now that Heifer is old, he's also gotten the smaller frame again.
Yes,
So
but the
the
pants
pants
still
and the
suck.
suspenders are like extra fat and thick
So-
around him. So he's now skinny.
He's
again.
got saggy boobies this
He
time.
has
though, which I
saggy
like.
boobs. Yeah. The water throws Grandpa into the ship and knocks him out. A shark starts to circle around him when Winifred hits the shark with a baseball bat. Where'd that come from? And saves Grandpa for being selfless and trying to save Rocco.
The Bermuda guy takes a picture of Rocco, Heifer, Grandpa, and Winifred, and then yanks the water and the storm out from under the boat, leaving the boat to land on a clock that sets all the time back correctly. Then a current takes the ship back to the surface in the real world, and the captain takes everyone quickly back to shore, and he runs off the ship.
Heifer then tells Rocco it was cool being old without his teeth. He could swallow his food whole. Rocco thanks Grandpa for saving him and then said that they should be friends. As they walk off the dock, the Bermuda creature shows up and shows the picture he took of the four of them as a postcard says greetings from the Bermuda Triangle. And that's the end.
Probably if you take just this part out of context from everything else, maybe one of the weirdest episodes, period.
Yeah.
If you don't give it part 1, and you just treat every segment like it's its own segment.
I'm sure that at some point in time I've come into that. You know what I mean? Like watching it as a kid,
Right.
I probably come in and only saw
Halfway
the tail
through,
end of it. Knowing that I would understand the concept because I've seen the first
Right,
part,
of
but
course.
coming in and seeing that, yeah, it's definitely would be really weird out of context.
Yeah.
Especially since like you still say that episode starts immediately with the
Gives you
clocks and everything just flapping.
Well, it gives you like a minute
yeah,
of
it picks
like
up like a little precursor
of
like,
Rocko running up
yeah,
to
he
turn
says
the
they're
ship.
gonna hit those decks,
Yeah.
and then runs up and talks to the guy,
Yeah.
and he's trying to, and then hits the.
You get 1 minute of like of lead in, and that's it. Bermuda Triangle, real?
There are a lot of odd things that do happen down there.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I would necessarily discount it as not real.
Okay.
But I don't know. There are a lot of, like I said, a lot of odd things that happen in that region of.
I think it's magnetic. Like it's
It could be.
It's
that's like the lost
sensitive
theory.
area. Yeah.
Like the island itself, whenever it pulls down like the planes and shit, it's because it's actually like a giant magnet, basically.
Like there's a weakness in the crust that has more of a gravitational pull right there than others.
So I mean, there could be something to it.
Yeah.
I don't really know enough mysteries of the Bermuda Triangle.
I haven't
It
read
seems
up
like
on
another
other...
podcast that we should start.
I'm sure somebody else has
So
done
we got 2 podcasts to start up now. We've got the one for the Bermuda Triangle, and then the other one for
campfire songs.
Campfire songs. Podcast day is a very dangerous day.
This has been an IFNZ production.